and they had to go play there. And he did knock me over. I watched more of the highlights, and yeah, he's got a live arm, and he's much more athletic than Mac Jones is. Okay, so now we're back to the 49ers. You gave up everything. You mortgaged your whole future for a pick that is dependent upon what the Jets do, and I just don't love that. That doesn't make sense to me.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think if the circulation that's swirling around Deshaun Watson?
Okay, I thought hard about Deshaun. Okay, I thought, is it possible that they wanted to improve this year's draft haul by saying, hey, Houston, we have the 3rd overall pick, and we'll get you all the way to 3 for Deshaun.
Right.
Okay, but they mortgaged their whole future, and I would think Houston would want more of their future than their current.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, because they don't have anything. So basically, do you want the 3rd pick, Jimmy Garoppolo, this year's 2?
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Has the value somewhat decreased given the set of circumstances that surround Deshaun Watson?
Sure. I would think so. I mean, now what are we up to? 16 lawsuits filed, civil suits?
Right.
And it was written that the 15th was the most damaging of the allegations. For what it's worth, they're just allegations.
Correct.
But again, the magnitude, the
sheer volume of the women.
The sheer volume could be a tough sell for your fandom. So I'm not sure where they're headed. They have fallen in love with somebody, but if you told me it was 2, I would get 2. So now here's what's about to happen. So if the Jets and 49ers do take a quarterback, well, that leaves the Falcons with either, let's say Mac Jones does go that high.
Right.
That's the only reason you would go that high to get him, to me. Well, that would leave Fields and Trey Lance for Atlanta. And that would leave somebody, maybe again, for the Dolphins. So they could be saying, we'll take the leftover at 6. Somebody's going to be left at number 6 if, in fact, they want somebody. Right? Well, would you really want the leftover of those first 4 quarterbacks? Would you really want to just wait and see what fell to you?
Well, the question is, Skip, is like what you do. Okay, you have a grade, you watch film, you watch this pro day, even though pro day should be the least of the concerns for you. I mean, what does the tape say, and what does your evaluators, the scouts, your personnel people, what's the grade they have? Skip, it might be a situation where it's Trevor Lawrence, and then everybody else has very similar grades. So you're not disappointed. If I get Trey Lance, I'm happy. If I get Zach Wilson, I'm happy. If I get Justin Fields, I'm happy. If I get Mac Jones. So, Skip, if the grades are very, very similar, and what I've done is that I've moved back, and I've accomplished, I got a 1st and a 3rd for me moving back.
Okay.
I'm not disappointed. But I'm still going to get a great player because, like you said, at 4, sitting Atlanta, a lot of people believe Atlanta's going to take a quarterback. So now Miami's sitting there like, well, hey, we could take a tackle. We could take Kyle Pitts if he's there. We could take Chase. We could take Devontae Smith. We got our we sitting pretty.
What I believe Miami did was it cost them next year's 1st and this year's 4th to move up 6 spots from 12 back into the fray at 6.
Right.
If, in fact, they're going forward with Tua, which I believe, and I've told you from the start, that's a mistake.
Right.
You still love him. I don't.
Okay.
But if you're going forward with him, you better maximize his ability to survive and succeed.
Right.
And to do so, you better take whichever receiver you have ranked highest on your board who's left.
Right.
I just got to believe the Bengals will take Kyle Pitts. I've told you from the start, he's the best non-quarterback in the draft.
Okay.
So that would leave possibly Devontae Smith, who obviously Tua is close with and connected with a lot back in his Alabama day. So it would make the most sense to give him somebody he's comfortable with and who dominated college football the way I've never seen a receiver dominate college football.
But think about this, Skip. Miami moves back from 3 to 12 with 49ers. And they swap positions, and they get 2022 and 23 first rounder.
Yep.
They move, then Miami moves up, and all they had to do was give up 1 first rounder.
Okay, they're fine. They got they have Fort Knox of draft picks.
And that wasn't even their pick, Skip. That's the Houston Texans pick. They should say, Houston, you want your pick back?
Okay.
Give us the shot.
Okay, well, that would still be in play for them. So that leads us back to the team. Now at 12, Philadelphia.
Right.
Philly just said, okay, we're out.
We definitely rebuild.
We concede, we go backwards.
Yes, yes.
That tells me that it's Jalen Hurts or bust for them, and I'm good with that.
Right.
I still believe in him more than you believed in him.
Okay.
But all I said was on draft day of a year ago, he can play quarterback better than Carson Wentz can play quarterback. He will perform better, and I think we saw early flashes of that for what had become a bad team when he took it over. So I'm happy for Jalen Hurts that they are going forward, and they'll just sit at 12 unless they want to move again.
Right.
But they'll sit at 12 and just say, we'll take best available and see how fast we can
Carson
rebuild.
Wentz is sitting back and said, well, hell, why the hell y'all put some pieces around me? Now, next year, the Eagles could have 3 first-round picks with playtime incentives because, remember, Skip, they got that first-round pick from Miami.
They did.
If Carson Wentz meets his incentives, they get their first-round pick of the Colts.
Okay.
So they're sitting good. But, Skip, man, look here. They're going to have to do a lot of building. They're going to have to do a remodeling for this offense to look presentable to people that's watching in the stands and for people watching at home. Because you say, okay, we're going forward with Jalen Hurts. With what? With what? You're trying to move Zach Ertz. Dallas Goedert has been nicked. That offensive line has gotten old and battered. Everybody's had surgery at some point in time.
It does not look good for Jalen Hurts, except for the fact that he now seems to be the man in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll still buy into that. That brings us back to San Francisco, and what is their strategy here? And again, it's possible they want somebody. They want Kyle Pitts. You know, I don't know what they're.
Not when they got George. Now they got Kittle.
Well, I'm just saying, whether you want to strengthen your strength.
Right.
Okay, so the point is, what does that say for Jimmy G at this point? Do they need him as a bridge quarterback?
Right.
They swear they're going to stand by him, and that that and 2 cents will buy you a cup of coffee. Right?
I ain't buying that. $3-4, Skip.
Okay, so the point is, it's possible they want Jimmy just as a bridge quarterback. Right. It's also possible they want to trade Jimmy G.
27, a lot of million for a bridge, Skip.
It's a lot of million, and it's also potentially too many million for the Patriots to fit under their cap.
Well, but they probably have to restructure that.
A lot.
Yes.
Because
they got 14 right now. They're about 14 million under the cap. Somehow they would have to restructure that to get that number down to less than 10.
So I warned you when Belichick went on his cash splash, his spending spree, it's possible you're spending your way into quarterback purgatory because you're going to hamper your ability then to go get a quarterback of magnitude, because clearly they signed Cam to another bargain basement deal for 1 year.
Correct.
As just a holdover sort of quarterback to get you through the night. So to me, on Jimmy G, I'm not sure they can fit him under unless he took far less. And maybe he would. Maybe they could figure out a way, we need you, you need us, kind of a thing, or you're going to be on the outs with the 49ers.
Right.
It's also possible Belichick could just wait them out and hope they cut Jimmy G, but I don't think they'll cut him.
Skip, Coach Belichick, look at, hold on. I gave y'all a bargain basement deal to get Jimmy G.
Yep.
Now return the favor, pay it forward.
Yeah, all they paid was a 2.
Yeah, exactly. So pay it forward.
That was out of spite to me. He said, I'll just give him away.
Right.
Because he was forced to.
Right. So that was, what, 2-3 years ago, Skip?
2017, yeah.
Yeah, so what they'll do is Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch will probably say, okay, Coach, you can have him for a fifth.
Maybe. Okay, but then it's a matter of
now you got to make the money work. Now you got to make the money work under the cap.
I'm not sure about that. And again, there were early speculation that one of those quarterbacks would fall to 15. I just don't see it.
I don't see it now. I don't see it.
I think